I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo. Picking up my blaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookiee at my side. I'm solo, I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo. I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo. Now I'm feeling how I should join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so fly time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No, oh yeah, yeah. Told me get my act together, now I got my act together. Yeah, now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy, the common night is gone. I'm moving on, I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. Around my eyes, I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo. Picking up my blaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookiee at my side. I'm solo, I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo, I'm hot and solo.
Well, that was my rough draft, so I have to just play around with some more.
Someone has been a busy little bee.
Yeah, I still have to change the time, and the first one I rendered too high, so I had to cut the rendering down so I could put it on Restream. So I didn't get to do some of the other things I wanted to do to it, but that's my start. So I figured I'd premiere the rough draft.
Oh, that was so funny.
So
That was really good.
So
I love how you start off with John, yeah, and with you. I'm like the tofurkey in the middle. Of
well,
this,
we started with you in the old one. I
sandwich.
think we started with you in the old one, so I want to give John the.
No, I think it's fantastic. I absolutely love it.
So I will play around with it some more, but I think once I get it set, then I was just moving pictures around, then I'll change it some stuff around. Like I got to change it. I meant to put around 8 p.m. and I just put 8 p.m., which will never start at 8 p.m. But welcome everybody to the Inflatable Falcon. We already got 3 people watching, which is
Right.
You know, they got to see the new intro at least.
Is that the 3 of us? Do we count? Or?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think so. We'll turn the chat on so see who's alive and well in the chat.
I'm placing bets on Fordo.
Fordo. Well, so intros first. John, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Beskar Bucket Podcast, as well as the Beskar Bucket anywhere you find podcasts, and then on TikTok at John Scalise.
Kenward, where can we find you?
You can find me here every Wednesday or almost every Wednesday. You can also find me on the Rambling Star Wars Fan wherever you listen to podcasts, and on Facebook as a Rambling Star Wars Fan. I think Instagram as well under that same heading.
Cool.
Josh is back.
And you can find me here and helping Zoe with Star Wars Geek Girl, and if Karita Cast ever gets off the ground.
Well, let's change the words.
When?
It's not an if.
Yeah. So
semantics matter.
Well, I did put it in the intro, so it's locked in at least.
You're starting off sending it out into the universe.
At least a 45-minute rendering from Adobe. So it's I did it in 4K and it came out too big, and then I had to cut it down. Well, I didn't know, like it's such a short shot. I thought so.
Yeah, but 3 minutes in 4K is like 2 hours in 1080p.
Yeah, I know. So I was just hoping, but it's, we'll see. I'll mess around with it some more.
Speaking of rendering and stuff, did you guys hear the news?
What's that?
That Dark Forces has been remastered and is available now for you to get.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So where is it, like on Steam? You have to buy it on Steam or something like that, or
or
you
the
just
PlayStation Store. I'm sure you can get it on Xbox
oh,
or
okay.
whatever. But I just put it in my queue for PS5.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I just wonder.
it's Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC.
Okay.
However, with every yin, there is a yang. Did you see the news that EA has laid off 670 employees and has canned the Star Wars first-person shooter game?
Oh.
What?
Yep. There was supposed to be a Mandalorian bounty hunter game that
Yeah,
was
because they just announced, didn't they? Just like it was
Yep.
like a week ago or something.
Yep. Yep. It has already been canceled. So I was hoping it would be the spiritual successor to 1313, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, EA game got a lot of heat for some of the, you know what I mean? Like for everyone that loved some of their games, like I like their games, but I'm not like a avid gamer. You'd have this just as many people had complaints about some of them. So
Do you think they added 4 people to the mix just so that they wouldn't have 666 employees that they kicked out?
probably.
maybe.
Order 666.
Yeah, that's a shame. Because
However,
that Mando game looked pretty cool. But see,
yeah, I am I don't know if we talked about it last week, but they announced that they're reviving Battlefront 2004 and Battlefront 2 2005.
oh no,
Yeah, so it's not I don't know if it's exactly a remaster, but they're re-releasing the game, making multiplayer servers, 64 player servers. They added Asajj Ventress and Kit Fisto, and they added a couple maps too. But I'm not looking forward to throwing $30 at that, because someone made a really good point to me, because I was like, well, I already own both of them
yeah,
on Steam, so I'm not gonna throw money at a game that I already own. But the more that we, show EA and Lucasfilm with our wallet how much we want more Star Wars games, especially a Battlefront 3 finally, the more likely it'll be to happen.
that's true.
So
Yeah, I have them for the Xbox, and I have a copy of Battlefront 2 for my Mac, but I lost the key code.
yep, that'll do it.
So
What, you didn't hang on to it after 21 years?
no, see what? Because once you installed it, you never had to use it again. So it was, and then on Macs, what happened is on the old Macs, when you got a new Mac, it literally was a couple buttons that it transferred the whole thing over to your new Mac, all your keys and codes, and so I did that for years, and then the other day I was like, well, I'm just going to put this on this one machine to have like just make it a dedicated Battlefront, and nope, it was asked for a key code, and they are not able to be found. But I mean, I wonder, like I look at games like Fortnite, and I think Fortnite has put I don't want to say a wrench, but they've kind of changed the directions of games in a way, because you have to compete with a free game.
Yeah.
Like I can go jump on Fortnite and play my Stormtrooper and run around and shoot stuff. And if you're making a game that I have to pay for and buy extra stuff for, it has to be better than me just running around and shooting stuff.
Yeah. They have also created a new, how do I want to phrase it? Like a new delivery system of how to make money as a game.
Yeah.
So not only are you competing with Fortnite, that is a free game, but they also added the Battle Pass system, where you have to pay to unlock things that you want that are cool.
Yeah.
But
That don't change the game, really.
that don't change the game. But the other problem is you have games like Call of Duty, and then when also like Battlefront 2 when it first launched, where you not only have to pay $60, $70 now for the games, you also have to pay to unlock these cosmetics. So they're making money hand over fist.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I'm just saying but you have to. They've set the bar that you can't just make a run and shoot keyboard masher and charge people. They won't buy that anymore. Like it's almost like if you're going to pay $70 for a game, I think people want to not be able to beat it in 3 days. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember in the 80s, you would buy a game and you'd play the thing for months before you beat it. Like, you know, so I mean, I'm sad to hear the news about the layoffs, but I sometimes I often wonder when those layoffs happen, is it more of a transfer of people? Like that company's doing poorly, so all those people go, and did they go somewhere else? Like is the company that's taking their place kind of snagging them up? I always wonder how that works.
Yeah.
You know, but that's a shame. I was looking forward to the Mando game.
Mm-hmm.
And Dark Forces. I mean, that's cool. I'm wondering how that holds up, because that was one of my favorite games.
Well, because of you, I actually hunted down the soundtrack for it.
Yeah. Well, the
Outlaws.
Outlaws was really good. Like, and it was really like just bad graphics, first person shooter, but it was neat because you could like had really cool missions, and the NPCs weren't overly stupid. So, you know, sound is what gets me, and that's what Lucasfilm games, at least, like what got me for Dark Forces was when I first heard the E11 shooting, you know, or you fight the evil Yoda. I forget, there was like two evil guys that were like Yoda, but they weren't. One was really big, and you guys remember that?
I haven't played it in ages.
One was like really big and one was little,
like Hulk Yoda,
kind of. And you fought them at they were one of the bosses, and the one flipped around like Yoda did when he was fighting the Emperor. You know, so yeah, that was.
I still haven't read. There's a book that I just got for Christmas called Rogue Leaders, and it's all about the story of LucasArts. So I'm wondering if there's any stuff about Dark Forces in here.
Oh, that's cool.
I see Lego Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
It's.
Oh yeah, the tentacle from. I see the tentacle from Maniac Mansion.
Yep.
Maniac Mansion, to get in the game, you had it was like the old Sim City, where you got like a discolored card and you had to look up a code with I think the Maniac Mansion came with like a red overlay, and you laid it over a paper and it give you a code to access the back of the mansion. That was their piracy code thing. So like Sim City used to be a half a sheet of paper with a whole bunch of city names and populations, and it was printed on a maroon paper with black ink, so you couldn't photocopy it. And then you would get the Sim City, and you'd have to punch in that code. And it was similar to that. There was an error there where you had a paper kind of key thing you had to type in every time. But yeah, Maniac Mansion was really good. X-Wing, I would say X-Wing and TIE Fighter 2 were some of my favorite LucasArts games. Have you played those?
Not in ages. And one of the things that just amazes me is that, you know, so we talk about Star Wars as a movie or an entertainment kind of thing, shows anyway. It's amazing how George, from the beginning, was instrumental in changing entertainment in other ways, like video games. I mean, LucasArts, and was it Ball Blazer or something like that? You know, really brought a different kind of intensity and attention to video games, like you were talking about with the sounds and stuff.
And some of those X-Wing games were neat because you had 360 view of your cockpit. Like you had like keys, you had to push, but you could turn back and look at R2, riding in the back. And like if there was a Star Destroyer over your head, you would see the Star Destroyer in the background and stuff. Yeah, that was the only downside to X-Wing was, and the TIE one especially, is when you got a lot of ships in there, you had to start cutting your graphics down if you didn't have But so yeah, well that's good, sad news for gaming. Some good, some bad. But yeah, I agree with people. If they want to see stuff, they do have to buy it. I am happy I bought the Mando Blu-ray, which I never thought in 2024 I would buy media like that. But
especially media you have instant access to 90% of the time.
Yeah. Well, we watched.
They tuck some extra things, and there is just 2 extra things on each set, season 1 and season 2. And that's the kind of stuff that I love. Like
Yeah.
as goofy as it sounds, when it comes to the varieties of the things you get, like which one has the most extra features or the most extra behind the scenes things.
Yeah. Yeah. Zoe, you never, I don't think Zoe played Outlaws. She might have, yeah, she wasn't born when I was playing Outlaws. But
I think she's talking about the new Outlaws.
oh, the
Star Wars
Oh,
Outlaws.
yeah. I'm thinking of Outlaw. I'm thinking of, yeah. Yeah. I bought the droid file from Droid Division because I was going to do a bust up of that droid.
Mhm.
So whatever was that? That's a
The commando droid.
commando droid. Yeah, they were scary in the beginning of the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
because that was that. Remember, they killed all those clones and like stuck their armor on.
Mhm.
So
yeah. Well, shifting from video games to card games, have you guys been informed about the new Star Wars trading card game that's coming
I
out?
heard about it.
I am so excited.
Yeah, okay, give me your elevator speech.
Okay. So I've never been like a TCG guy. I've
Yeah.
always had an appreciation for like Magic and Pokemon.
Yeah.
Never liked TCGs, like playing them.
Yeah.
But I always told people like if they made a good Star Wars trading card game, I would dump every cent I could into it.
All right.
The art is like cartoon-ish, but it's still got like that hand-drawn feel to it. And it plays, from what I'm told, it plays kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay.
Have either of you ever played Magic the Gathering?
I played. Yeah, I used to be a trainer in the 90s when it was only on second edition. I had a special shirt from Wizards of the Coast. I sold, like, Magic was 80% of my sales some weeks at my store. There was the dark and first edition, second edition, and revised or unlimited. It was I was on the third when I started playing Magic.
I'm on the other end of that, and the answer is I've heard of it. I know it exists.
Well,
I've
see,
never played it.
to skip and then I'll get back to you. Magic the Gathering kind of reminds me of
No,
yeah.
No, I don't.
Magic the Gathering kind of reminds me of D&D in the sense that whatever one you started with, and if you start with the right one, it's hard to branch out. Like when you play D&D, I tried all the Marvel games and Star Frontiers and the West End games, and you always compare it to D&D because D&D was just such a simplistic, good system, and I always felt Magic was the same way. Like Magic, they just happened to catch it because I would say in 93 to 94, probably 50 different card games came out, and I would buy them all from my store. It was so bad, so many card games. I bought one called Rock, Paper, Scissors. Right. I thought, well, in my mind, I'm looking at the order. It can't be that bad. It was decks of cards that were evenly distributed the word rock, paper, and scissors. You would split the deck up and you would just pull, and whoever had rock, it was for those people that are too lazy to use their fingers. So
Okay. Interesting.
and then I went through the Decipher card. I had cases of the Decipher Star Wars cards. And I tried my best to love playing those. And man, that game, I just gave up on learning to play it and just started collecting the cards because the cards were pretty cool.
Does this mean that going forward from this night on, we have to start referring to you as Magic Mike?
Oh, that sounds odd.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so it's called Star Wars Unlimited. And instead of having like lands in your deck, like you have a set amount of how much mana or how many resources you have, you just have a 50 card deck with units, which are ground and space units, which are played in 2 different battlefields. You have events, and then you've got upgrades, which events and upgrades are pretty self-explanatory. You play an event, like an instant. But yeah, it's super, because like there's a website called force.net that you can try it out, see how you like it, and kind of learn the ropes. But yeah, no, I'm super excited because this has been in development for 3 years. They already have 6 total sets planned,
Nice.
which is very comforting because every other Star Wars TCG dies after the first or second set because they've got no backing behind them. They don't have any future plans. But the set that comes out next Friday officially is called Spark of the Rebellion. So it's Rebels, Rogue One, and then original trilogy stuff. Then in July, it's going to be Shadows of the Galaxy, which is going to be like Mandalorian era stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The 2-player starter deck is going to be Din and Moff Gideon, which I'm really excited for. And then in October, it's going to be Twilight of the Republic. So prequel era Clone Wars stuff. Yeah,
That's cool.
Huh.
Yeah, so if you guys like TCGs at all, check out Star Wars Unlimited. I'm going to a pre-release event, which is a sealed format. So you get 6 booster packs, and whatever cards you get in those packs, that's what you build your deck out of.
Are you trooping it?
No, I'm playing in it.
See, I am surprised. See, this is where the I feel bad because in the olden days, we would have wound up trooping this. Like that would have been it. They would have kicked it off with troops and, you know. So I'm trying to look at my pictures from London. Did they have these displayed in London?
I don't think so. I believe it was Shatterpoint was the only like table.
Oh, that was what it was. Okay, I was getting it mixed up with Shatterpoint. You're right. That's what I was.
Yeah, even just like the card art and stuff really gets me excited, but like even playing the game is fun. Because like I tried Magic when I was in high school and I wasn't good at it. Granted, I'm not good at Star Wars Unlimited either, but you tag Star Wars on it and I will give it the old college try more.
Did they say who the artists for the cards are?
There are artists out there, but I can't think of their names off the dome. But
yeah, this was the Shatterpoint, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Another thing to collect.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, the Decipher cards, I wound up selling mine in the early 2000s because someone offered me like a ridiculous amount of money for my Decipher cards, and I wasn't a card guy. But the Decipher cards were very nice because they had zoomed in on photos. Like that's the first time I saw Hans dice in like 1994 or whatever when Decipher came out. They had a zoomed in picture of the dice hanging in the Falcon. You know, so they took like really weird photos of stuff, but that's cool.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only disappointing part is so far there is only one Kylo Ren card, and it's a legendary, so it's super rare.
You'll be buying them by the case.
I haven't bought a case yet, but I pre-ordered the 2-player starter deck because I'm forcing Dad to play it.
Nice.
And then I pre-ordered a case, or not a case, a box.
A boosters, like booster packs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 24 boosters, 16 cards a piece. But the nice thing is, so in the gameplay, you've got your deck, which is all your units, events, and upgrades. And then every pack and every game you play, you've got a leader, which is, just like a face character, and you've got a base. Your base is what your HP is. So the goal is to take out the other player's base.
Yeah, that's what D&D. I mean, Magic was simple. I mean, you probably tried to play Magic when it was way more complicated, but before you had counters and stuff like that, you literally just had 20 health points and you tried to beat the person down to 0.
Yep.
And there was no counters and mini monsters and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's cool though. I'm excited for that.
That's awesome.
I just like seeing the art of the cards. Like if you can ever get a hold of a cheap box of, like they had Hoth, Dagobah, and regular Star Wars Decipher cards. If you ever come across a cheap, they're well worth just sitting there opening them and looking at the cards of the old Deciphers. The old Decipher cards are beautiful. And it has all the names of the weird characters. Like, and again, that was in 94 when no one knew, when we all still thought his name was Hammerhead, and they have all the characters. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, here, I will share my screen real quick. Because this is my favorite card.
Okay.
So if you want to see kind of what the style of the art is.
Oh, nice. Also, it does look like an anime type, like a Pokemon or one of those games. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then Here, let me see. Yeah, there's like
Oh, there you go.
General Veers, because
Yeah.
this is what a unit card looks like.
Nice.
The aggression, which is the Kylo card, that's an event card.
I see new format for our 501st cards.
Yeah, no kidding. Is this? Yeah, and then every card has what's called a hyperspace card.
Nice.
So it's a full art card with the little hyperspace lines around the
Oh,
edge.
cool. What's the back look like? I know that sounds stupid. I'm just curious. Does it show you the back?
Yeah, there are card backs. Let me get it pulled up. Yeah, that's just what the back of the card looks like. But yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's cool. Star Wars card news. Nice.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yep. So that's what I'm going to be doing this Friday. I'm super excited. I've been waiting for this for like 6 months.
All right. So we do have Fan Expo news.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Drum roll. We're not sure on a panel. So, but the droid builders have invited us to share their space.
Really?
So, yes, because the droid builders were not going to go because they were having a hard time getting enough people to man the table. So Ken and Mike jumped in and said, "Hey, we need a space and you need people." So we're going to help man their table and in return be able to share their space. So
nice. So how much space is there total?
I don't know. They have a lot of the droid builders usually get a pretty big pile of space. I haven't got the details from Dave yet, but I know last time they had like 20 feet at least, the droid builders, like a length or more.
Jesus.
Yeah, so
which means I have to kick up my my droid building up a notch so I can get my pit droid done by then.
I have to get headphones, and then we need a Walkman. Just tape a logo of the Rambling Star Wars fan or something on it, or so.
And I signed up for an early morning shift with the Mercs.
Yeah.
And I chose to help them set up and tear down on Friday and Sunday.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I'm gonna be able to work it all day Saturday and Sunday, and then probably like if Thursday or Friday in the evenings I can help. Safi can help Friday, so we have them covered. So we'll be at Fan Expo in one way, shape, or form. We haven't heard back from our panel. What did she say from our multiple emails? Did she say she would let us know in March?
I don't think I don't remember in my emails with her. I don't think I got a date.
I'll have to look.
But she did confirm that one of the panels I proposed was almost mirror image to one of the ones you proposed, just with the names and the title in different orders.
Yeah. So anyhow, so we are going to be at Fan Expo, and we'll have at least a giveaway at one of our panels, hopefully. If not, we'll just have a mini panel.
So considering I've been thinking about this a lot because I'm a dork. We've talked about a giveaway being a helmet.
Yeah.
Considering that the droid builders have been kind enough to share space with us, what if instead of doing a helmet, we put together a protocol droid head?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, definitely.
Or even a couple of them, because if we have space at the booth. And with 3 panels in proposal form, maybe at least one of them will get selected. And just so you know, John, I put your name and Mike's name on every one of the panel proposals that I put out there.
Yeah.
So we could possibly all have a protocol droid head as a giveaway at the panels as well.
Yeah, that's easy. That's an easy.
And I'm more than happy to roll up to Pennsylvania and help you.
Yeah, no, that sounds because once the weather's warm, I can, we can crank out 3 in a morning and paint them. Just give me an excuse to make a droid head.
And I was thinking that with the paint job that we do, we just prime them so that the winner gets to choose the final paint scheme, and we have all the bits for them.
I have all the
parts.
Yeah. Well, I do want to test my 3PO paint job, so we might have to do a protocol 3PO just to check,
just as a display,
just as the gold and silver. What we can give that away too, like a bonus one. Give one away at the droid builders table or something like that.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, Dad expressed interest in going. So
nice.
yeah, we might just end up being there. So
Nice. Yeah, so it should be a good weekend. I mean, May the 4th is I know it's a busy time, but it's going to be a weird Saturday. I have a feeling the groups are going to suffer in one way, shape, or form because that's also Free Comic Book Day.
mm,
And so, you're going to have to, like, Free Comic Book Day sometimes stretches us thin as it is. And then because it's landing on May the 4th, that could be really, really tough. So we'll see. We'll be there. We'll be there. I was just reminiscent. So let's go into troop time. How's that?
Yeah, nice segue.
Like, nice segue. I mean, I'm going to delete all of these. I'm going to delete all these tickers and just redo them live because we have so many. But no, so I was reminiscent about troop time. I posted up on Facebook. I don't have any troop time this week, but I posted up the dog walk that we did in either 2018 or 2019. I don't know if you guys saw the posts I put up on either Facebook or Instagram. We did a cancer walk for dogs, cancer survivor dog walk. I forget what it was. But for all those troopers out there, and I've probably said it on the show before, when we showed up, they had a pup tent, like what you would have, like a 4-person or less tent, like if you went camping as a kid, and that was our changing area for a TK, a Boba Fett, and a Wookiee. That was our changing area. And we were like, hey, thanks. That's okay. We'll just change at our car. And we locked our tubs and everyone helped because Boba Fett's pretty tough because he, once he has to get his stuff on. So we got all our totes back in our cars and then we just walked from our car and we came around like a little grove of trees, and the organizer, who was a cancer survivor, she saw us. I say us, but I'm pretty sure it was Chewie. She was a big Chewie fan. And she just started bawling. Like she just, and everyone was nicer than the next. The dog, and we were like the honor guard when they made their first lap. So Boba Fett stood on one side and I stood on the other, and we walked through, and one of the first dogs came up to me and lifted his leg and whizzed right down my leg. And the lady was PK. The people were mortified, and all I said was, did anyone get a picture? Like, all I wanted was a picture. And because I was just happy it was me and not Boba Fett.
Or how about
he's
Chewie?
Cloth, know?
How about Chewie?
Huh? Well, yeah, but Chewie wasn't one of the, it was a choice between us two, because Chewie was like entertaining him and stuff. But it just reminded me of how much fun it is to troop. Like everybody there was somehow touched by cancer, whether family members, some were survivors, someone was survival fan, and they provided us with nothing. They didn't provide us with water. They didn't provide us with a room to change. And you know what? It was a wonderful troop, and we were professional, and so I just think pretty cool, So I just miss Zoe's thing when we used to sit and play. Played Magic at because she laid her cards out like the old guy, because I was very particular when I showed the kids how to play Magic, which is unrelated to this. But yeah, I was super particular. You have to put these here, and you have to, when you tap them, you have to turn. But anyway, that troop just reminded me. Sometimes I think, and I'm not saying any of us are this way, and I'm not saying any of our friends are this way, but there are sometimes troopers, we get a little full of ourselves, and we think we're like the premier Star Wars fan, and we're just like everybody else. And again, like, we changed our cars, we survived without water and food, So just my troop time thing out there.
Some of those are the best troops.
Yeah.
I mean, like when it's just bare bones, just show up and be in costume with nothing else. Sometimes those generate the best memories, like having a dog pee down your leg.
Oh yeah.
For me, one of my favorite ones was at the Wildwood Aviation Museum, or Navy Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, there's airplanes and helicopters and, other military vehicles inside. And it was in November, so it was before Christmas. And they have stations all around. It's like also like an arts and crafts fair kind of thing. And they have, the tables lined up in this ring inside the museum, and some families had come through with and got pictures with the stormtroopers and with us in Mandos and as men in our Mandalorian costumes and everything. And at one point, I was walking around with Heather, and one of the families who had come to the table were standing in line to get pictures with Santa Claus. And the family grabbed onto my hand and said, "Will you get in our picture with Santa?" So some family in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, wherever, has a picture of their family with Santa Claus and Kennigsgar Kabur. It was like 20, I don't know, 2020.
That's funny. Well,
2020.
then that which then leads me to another comment. I think as costumers, whatever you want to call yourself, cosplay. That sounds weird to me to say as an adult man, but whatever we are, I wish we had some way of having someone with a hashtag either on their shirt or something. I would love to see all these pictures people take. Like I wish I could just say, look, just please tag me in this, or like without being intrusive or something.
Mhm.
Well, have you ever seen folks do the covert picture where they take a picture of someone or something without it
Yeah,
the
yeah.
person knowing? There's got to be hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures like that of each of us floating around in
Yeah.
the in the universe.
Yeah.
My one of my favorite pictures like that was I was taking I think I said this last week, maybe I was taking a picture of Zoe and someone else in costume, or no, Safi and someone else in costume, but the wrestler was behind me, thought I was trying to sneak a picture of him, and he yelled at me, and I showed him my phone, and then you would have thought I punched him in the face, like, or did a wrestling move across his head, because I think it hurt his feelings that I wasn't trying to sneak a photo of this guy. I had no clue who it was.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a member of Apollo Base, the Rebel Legion out here. His son is a wicked photographer. And I think it was at Cincinnati Comic Expo. He takes the best candid pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Like after the because we did the running of the prisoners through the convention. I was just sitting on my kit box. I was winded. I mean, it was a big convention center, so I'm just sitting there, just kind of like leaned over, hair is falling half in my face, and he just snapped a quick picture. It's one of my favorite pictures.
Nice.
So,
You have to, well, when I redo our intro to do the final copy, that's what I wanted you guys to send me 3 of your favorite pictures that I can put in our intro. So
yeah. See, I would send you the best picture that has ever been taken of me in Supreme Leader Kylo. However, it came to my attention earlier this week that I put the scar on the wrong side.
So no, just flip it. Just flip it.
The negative was reversed.
Then the belt, the saber clips on the wrong side.
Listen, if Lucas,
something that I can see,
Lucasfilm did it how many times with Boba Fett when they added Boba Fett? I mean, you can have the scar on the wrong side.
Yeah, the Captain Rex is all of the armor on his arms is wrong. So yeah.
I think the first time I told Zoe to put her knees on the wrong side, one of her Sabine costumes, and I because I didn't know, and so I have some good pictures, but the knees are on the wrong side.
Didn't the biker scouts at one point have their knees upside down? Was it in Mandalorian?
The new ones in Mando, yeah. If you do one of those costumes, you have to wear them upside down.
Yep. That's what scares me for the Ahsoka Captain Rex.
Oh yeah, Zoe said it was upside down. Yeah. Well, I do wonder sometimes if to a certain point the costuming has to let go of some of these, like we have to have standards to get in, but I think sometimes we have to just okay, you want to be a stormtrooper, meet one of these standards. You know what I mean? Because technically, I could take a still of Mandalorian and find one of the 501st guys that something's a little off, and now that I could be that person.
Yeah.
Do you think they meant to have the brow crooked on the Sand Trooper in Mos Eisley? No, but that's the Move Along Trooper's brow. That's just
Yeah, there are standards, and then there's common sense.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to reintroduce some common sense into some of these CRLs.
Well, that's what I think. I just think personally, this is for anyone. We're just boring everyone that's not in the costuming group. I think it should go back to getting in, like to be a stormtrooper. Here's how you get in. Any other merit you get goes back to the whatever you call it, like for the sand troopers, it's Mos Eisley Police Department.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So like if you come in as a TD, you make these basic standards. There's no level 1, 2, 3. You're in the 501st, and then any of those other awards come from your. What are they? Squad? No, they're
Detachments.
detachments. Comes from detachments, and just be bragging rights for a detachment, because I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes in. You know.
Yeah, I think it's funny when you see like new members who are like, yeah, no, I'm trying to get in as a Centurion TK. It's like, why?
I know.
Why are you putting yourself through this?
Guess what? The first time you put your suit, your armor away the wrong way, and you put a nick or scratch, or guess what? So, yeah. Well, and like I think the guy I work with, he works in one of the other buildings. He just finished his TK, and I think he was only one item away from being Centurion status as his initial submission.
Wow.
Doing it himself, like I helped him a little bit. Literally, I was like, yeah, just cut that and cut that. I didn't really, and so he might get Centurion status. So,
And I think I've asked this to you guys before, but do you get anything once you've achieved it, like a ribbon? Do you get a sash?
You used to get a patch.
yeah, I think
But-
I don't. Yeah, but it's nothing like I don't think it doesn't matter. It's not like, oh well, look, you're trooping with the Centurion. Here, you get an extra changing area. Like if they want to make it worth something on those crowded convention, the Centurion should get extra changing space or something. But
An extra bottle of water.
well, and I think the premise of the costuming here we're moving into costume corner. So let me get our costume corner out here.
You're just using all of the tickers
Look
tonight.
at this. I'm trying. I think the initial when they went to those levels, it was there was guys who were in that wanted something to do, but didn't want to like do a whole new costume. And I think that was the initial push for it.
Some of those changes, you may as well make a new costume.
Oh well, yeah.
Like converting a stunt TK to a Centurion stunt TK is not an easy feat.
Right. No, right. But I think they were looking for like and when I say new costume, I don't mean that they weren't going to go buy a new costume, but you have those guys that are just like the people I see it in right now are the Royal Guards. Like if you meet someone who's a hardcore Royal Guard, they only want Royal Guard costumes or one of the red costumes. That's all they want. And
Yeah.
so it just give them something else to do, I think. It's to prove, I don't know. I mean, it's good. It's good if that's what you like, but my FX is still doing well. So,
Well, speaking of costumes, and considering that today there was a new episode of The Bad Batch, what are your thoughts on all of the new characters, even in the background characters that have shown up, and how many of them do you think we'll see on the floor of conventions and troops and stuff like that?
oh, what man? There's like those pilots. I've already seen guys doing the pilot helmets,
Okay,
and then you had the trooper with the helmet with the
the goggles.
Mhm.
yeah. Which again, I said to Zoe this morning. Why did he have goggles on?
Maybe his lenses got blasted out.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I liked the ponchoed
Yeah,
stormtroopers.
that's what Safi was always talking about, the poncho and then the goggles.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a Mimban trooper. It was similar to like the Mimban goggles, but you had the in between TK clone helmet with the hood. Yeah.
Yeah,
And there was several kinds of ponchos too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sold on the proto TKs.
No, I'm with you on that one, John. But I like the accessories.
Yeah, I like the costumes as a new costume, but it's kind of it's hard to disconnect from the original trilogy TKs.
I like the animated TK helmets, but I hated the animated TK armor.
Yes.
And together, not to knock anyone who has the costume, it just never seemed quite right. Either the helmet looked too small or the armor looked too big or something. It just never
Well,
seemed to.
Because in that animation style, you had to be rail thin
Yeah.
to fit that armor and make it look proper.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like you had the officer, like a little more like with the jacket, and you had. I like the spoilers if you haven't seen it. So if you haven't seen Bad Batch Day, the first day it comes out, and you're wasting time listening to us, then you got your priorities out of whack.
yeah,
But
jump off now and go watch it.
I did like Crosshair's like disguise hat
Mhm.
because it had a weird. It almost looked like the was that the A-wing pilot helmet?
the A-wings from the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was a weird.
Well, and lots of like just facial coverings. Period. Whether it was
Yeah.
like a scarf or a breather, or one the kid in that had like his whole head wrapped up with just these itty bitty goggles and stuff like that.
I see your dad could do Hemlock.
Yeah.
Because
He
he's a
probably
jerk.
could. Oh, he loves jerk characters.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well,
Does he have a black glove? Just one?
and yeah, there you
Probably.
go. Well, I'm hoping that his hand is like scarred from like when he takes his glove off, it's like half plant or something. Like he like used himself as like an experiment. But when I first saw it, I thought it was the guy who played Hawkeye.
Jeremy Renner?
He reminded me of Jeremy Renner. The not the voice, the look reminded me a little bit of Jeremy Renner. And then I saw who the voice actor is, and it's one of the weird brothers from Always Sunny. I forget the character's name, but and he's a character actor. He plays a lot of different characters. But
Yeah, I can see Jeremy Renner in there.
and then I was thinking, the girl, we didn't see her but with the glasses.
Emery?
What if when they rescue her, she kind of replaces Tech?
I don't know if they're gonna have to replace Tech. I've been seeing a lot of conspiracy theories about. I think it's the first of the third episode.
Hold on, you're not wearing the proper headgear.
Yeah,
to be talking about this. Where is it?
Oh, I don't have it anymore. I lost it.
You gotta have your tinfoil hat on to be talking about that stuff. See, I thought even that I don't know who it was in today's episode, the one who was talking about the fines and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
I thought he was really grimy, dirty, creepy. Not as weird as
Smarmy.
as Hemlock is, but
He was smarmy. Like he was basically what kept the Empire from being as good. When I say good, being as strong as it could be, because because he had his own little agenda,
his side hustle.
Yeah, his own little side hustle that kind of undermined what the strength of the Empire, because that just put weakness in his spot, But that was good. I mean, that was definitely a good way to go. So
yeah, I love the officer trench coats.
Yeah.
I need one for my ISB because it adds so much of a look to the
And what
costume.
do you think the material would be in real life?
Is
it like a leather or
no? Because it's the same material as the tunic, so it's got to be like a canvas-esque polyester.
Okay.
It has a very Cold War Eastern Bloc like military surplus feel.
Yeah.
And it amazes me that in a cartoon, you can make it look like it's dirty, if that makes any sense. I mean, all the episodes that we've seen so far, and I don't usually like using this adjective because I hear it overused, but it's gritty. It's not it's not a clean camera view. It's not bright and colorful and cheery.
Yeah.
It's dimly lit, and even on their faces you can see
Yeah.
where they haven't washed in a while or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely a good episode.
And that little credits case.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a lunchbox.
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew that was gonna cause her trouble. I knew that was,
And I know someone's gonna make Omega's little lunch pail thing that she
yeah.
was
Oh
carrying
yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can see that happening, complete
Yeah.
with the little tags or the buttons that are on it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that's a lot to see. And then Crosshair was wearing an old Imperial backpack. The old clone backpack.
Yeah, he was
Mhm.
just missing the cloth
Yeah, yeah.
cover that was on it. Was that an Imperial backpack or was that an old clone backpack?
Clone.
Clone.
Yeah, that would be a Republic backpack. Yeah. The one they carried Stinky in
Yeah.
in the movie.
I still want to see what happens with Stinky.
Yeah, I thought Omega winning 45,000 credits. I want to know how long they were in there.
Well, but do we know what 45,000 credits are? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Is
is
it a
that like
dollar
$45? Is
I mean, it has to be quite a bit because the transport director was willing to let him on for 30,000. Like,
yeah. But I'm saying, like, is that like is that like $450? Is that like?
yeah,
I mean,
over. I love Captain Sideburns playing with house money the entire time. He's like, well, this is a win-win. If I lose, I fine him and I get
Yeah,
most of my money
yeah.
back.
yeah. Yeah, that was a good. I thought he was going to be just a flyby character. Like, I thought he was just going to, Well, I knew something was going to happen with the dog. When they set the dog out, I was like, oh, that's going to be another side adventure. There's
And
an animal
this
and a
is-
kid.
We had 4 episodes so far, and in 2 of those episodes, we've had weird, creepy tentacle creatures.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, was that a
Well,
Raptor?
That's what Zoe said. She said, I think it was a Rathtar.
Mhm.
If it's a Rathtar, pretty much everyone in that area is, after he's done munching on that guy, is in trouble. Well, no, it did latch shut when he pulled it shut.
Yeah,
But it didn't have the
But-
pin in it.
I was saying,
Right.
did it lock?
But see, that's that other subtle hint of showing how the Empire is just letting whole environments and whole things just be destroyed and moved willy-nilly.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Oh, here we go. Galaxy's Edge. Zoe's giving us the Zoe has one of those loadable coins where you can load money on.
Oh,
and
the
spend it.
Spira?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and even in The Mandalorian, I mean, Republic credits weren't necessarily used all throughout the galaxy anymore. But this is before The Mandalorian, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is like not too long after the Empire took power. Right?
Yeah,
It's
this,
like
this has
couple
got to be like
years.
That's right, because the Emperor's still alive.
Yeah, a
What
couple
am I
years.
missing?
this has got to be like 30 years before the Mandalorian, because
That's-
20
yeah,
years till the end of Jedi, and then
Well,
9
yeah,
years
and
after that.
yeah, so that's
So with that said, then, because one of the things we had talked about before the show came out, we were talking about Asajj.
Yeah.
So is it feasible that Asajj is still alive in this then?
she died before Order 66.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this is
So she's gone. Yeah, she died before the end of the Clone Wars. So, and then Quinlan took her back to
Dathomir.
Dathomir. So she'll be recharged.
I
it could
hope
be
I hope if she's in it, I hope Quinlan Voss is in it.
See, what's interesting, I'm interested in that you said I find it interesting you said that because I just finished listening to Dark Disciple.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, I like Quinlan Voss a lot less than I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't spoil it. It is like, granted, I've read the synopsis, but I it's next on my list.
Well, what do you know of it?
I know generally how it goes. Being like, oh god, it's been like 3 months since I read the synopsis. Now I already forget it. I know Saj Ventress dies at the end, and then Quinlan takes her back to Dathomir, but I don't know the finer details of it.
Well, he was used by Dooku.
Yeah.
Dooku. Well, and the Jedi. I mean,
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
So he teeters on this edge of being Jedi, not Jedi, Jedi, not Jedi, Jedi, not Jedi.
So he's basically Revan.
Well, he see, I took it. Yeah, I when I read it, I took it there was a point in time where he was almost like deep undercover, you know. And then at a certain point, I felt like he was actually being controlled and didn't realize it. That was the way I took it. I might have to reread it.
Well, controller chose to go down that path because of what he hoped to gain from it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't remember. I got to reread that part. But like my memory right now makes me think like he was not. He was. I don't know. I want to say.
Well, he was seduced. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Just like
that's a good,
like Anakin was seduced.
Yeah.
And I sent a note to Zoe earlier, saying that book also makes me like Mace Windu even less than I ever did.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Mace was
Like I used to think he was just an arrogant jerk.
Yeah.
But in Dark Disciple, not a fan of him at all. Like not even close.
Not going to tolerate this slander.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah. You gotta read it or listen to it or whatever, John. It is a good book.
And I think you should listen to it because the one voice, I think it's the same voice actor, does all of the voices, and he is magical. Like does Asajj, does Dooku, does Obi-Wan, does Plo Koon, does the droids, and you have the benefit of the John Williams music piping through it. And I don't think this will be a spoiler, but they use the music that we all know. So there are moments where you hear Duel of the Fates during fight scenes. And they're reading the fight scene and playing Duel of the Fates in the background. Or I'm pretty sure that they had Leia's music in there. An apologist, a Jedi Order apologist.
Yeah. I would definitely I think, John, you probably want to listen to that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I really wanted to finish Thrawn Alliances,
but I'm just saying because where we're at with Bad Batch, you definitely want to. I think you'll be sad if you don't at least do a quick listen.
Yeah.
So and I think you and I talked about this in another episode, Mike, about romance in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I am going to be a appreciative of the writing of romance in Star Wars. Like I wouldn't sit down and read a romance novel, but I've listened to like 9 of them so far, all related to Star Wars.
What were those like really trashy romance novels in the 80s
with who was
Fabio on the front?
Fabio on the front.
That's what they need to make a whole line of those just for Star Wars. Like, what were they called? They had a name. They had a specific name. It was the name of either the publishing company. Like it was like Kleenex to tissues. It was like it Harlequin? Harlequin
That's
romance.
What I thought they were. Yeah.
So yeah, we need a Harlequin romance section for people just to make fun of. And then instead of Fabio, they could have Quinlan on everyone. Like like
they could bring. What was who was the guy in Rebels with the sideburns, the big sideburns?
Oh yeah.
Who became Fulcrum.
Yeah. Oh damn. What was this?
Callus.
Callus. Yeah. It could be shirtless Callus on everyone to appeal to the ladies.
Yeah, riding a Fathier.
Yeah. There you go.
Across the beach.
There you go. There's some twisted.
Alexander Callus.
Yeah, there we go. She just yelled down Alexander Callus.
Yeah,
she's upstairs.
I was waiting for that one too.
Yeah.
Zoe, I see what you're saying about Thrawn Alliances, but I'm struggling to get through it.
Now take a break and listen to that.
Yeah.
All right, listen, we're on the 59-minute mark.
Yep.
So let's finish up with podcast talk. Like any any suggestions? Because Ken, we got this from you. Any suggestions on podcasts people should try out besides our own, of course?
Have I mentioned? Never mind. I can't think of the name right off the top of my head. I thought it was Force of the Mind or the Mind of the Force. Mind the Force. Maybe it's Mind the Force. That's one I'm going to suggest on my show. I have an upcoming episode that I'm going to release within the next couple days or the next week. And she does a very interesting thing. The podcaster does a very interesting thing where she talks about Star Wars and psychology, Star Wars and mental health, looking at the
I think
characters.
I've seen. I
I think
might
it
have
might be
listened
called
to her.
Mind the Force.
Yeah, I think I've listened to her.
So that's one I would recommend. And if you haven't heard of the show, Blast Points, the two podcasters, Jason and Gabe, just got back from a trip to Skywalker Ranch and what's it called? Rancho Obi-Wan.
Oh,
And
okay.
these are guys that have talked about wanting to go to these places for a long, long time. And it was super exciting to hear about. They were able to get out there to do the premiere at Lucasfilm, the 3-episode
Yeah,
premiere. So they
yeah.
did a tour of Skywalker Ranch. They went to Rancho Obi-Wan, and they got to do the premiere of the first 3 episodes of Bad Batch. It's fun hearing other Star Wars fans getting to talk about like a bucket list kind of thing.
Nice.
So it was those 2 shows I'd recommend. How about you guys?
Well, I'm going to go back to my one from last week, the ridiculous crime and the 20 questions. Did you get to listen to that, Ken?
Yeah.
So did that feel like we could somehow in the future make that happen?
I have something similar in mind, but I don't know if we could fall into the same line of their show. Of the way that
Right.
they did, but something similar, yes.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, I mean, I'm right now. I'm just I haven't added much new Star Wars podcast to my list. I'm still, just because I feel like my podcast listing is getting. I need more time. I need to get work further away from my house. John, how about you? Any?
I listen to one podcast that's not one of our shows.
Oh,
it's
what's that?
Completely irrelevant.
Is
It's not Star Wars.
Is it football?
Nope, it's wrestling. Yep.
Wrestling. Okay.
Yep, Jim Cornette Experience. So if you want
okay.
to hear a Southern Kentucky man screaming obscenities about wrestling, I highly recommend it. However, before we shift gears real fast, Ken, I have a curious listener who wants to know where you got your shirt.
This is actually from T Public, I believe. And it's a Misa Frank. A Misa Frank
I
shirt.
forgot about T Public. I need to go back. I used to use those a long time ago, forever. Like,
And then when I opened up the package and showed Heather, the first thing she said was, "Yeah, of course you bought that."
Yeah.
That would be one that if Lucasfilm ever comes to your house, they would tell you you're not allowed to wear it. That's all I remember from my visit.
Well, speaking, have you heard the rumor? Have you?
Oh, I saw the headgear. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's the possibility. This is just this is me in my tinfoil hat. Jar Jar somehow Jar Jar returns.
Nice.
Sorry, did either of you see the photo that's been circulating of Jar Jar, Darth Maul, and Kira? They're all wearing the same Crimson Dawn pendant.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, send that to me. I gotta see that.
I hope I saved it.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, we have our award show. Is that next week?
That is next week.
Okay. I don't know what's going to happen on our award show, but we have we'll have to advertise it heavily.
Well, we've got some graphics together if you
Okay.
want to make some announcements.
Okay. Do you want to post up a few before we go out?
I can do that.
All right. So here is let me turn the ticker off so we get the Golden Tauntauns.
Which one do we want to do first?
You pick, John. You're in the driver's seat.
All right. Let me get this open. There we go.
All right. Let me see if I get this right. There we
So-
go.
Best Actor: D. Bradley Baker in The Bad Batch, Lars Mikkelsen from Ahsoka, Hayden Christensen in Ahsoka, and then Jack Black in The Mandalorian.
All right, that's our. So if you tune in to the Golden Tauntauns, you can find out who might win in that category. Give us another category, John.
Best Actress: Lizzo, also in The Mandalorian. Natasha Liu Bordizzo, I think that's how you pronounce it, in Ahsoka. Michelle Ang in The Bad Batch, and Katie Sackhoff in The Mandalorian.
Wonderful.
Do we want to do one more?
One more.
One
And then I think these need to be hitting TikTok because look, they're the wide view. You would get the extra views because they want you to use the wide, the sideways, and TikTok.
All right, let me.
I always thought TikTok was the portrait thing.
I know, but they're trying to push the other too. They're trying to push the wide. So,
All right. Lastly, we got Best New Costume: Ahsoka the White, Ragnar Vizsla, Captain Bombardier, and Merrick. So, being that we're mostly a costuming podcast, I feel
Yes.
like this
that
is
one.
perfect.
That one's very on brand.
So, is that
there we go.
That's a great way to end this week's episode. That's awesome.
it's very exciting. I'm excited for next week. Are we ready to roll? Are you guys both prepared for this?
Prepared.
Yeah, that was a
Of
non-starter.
course.
Yes.
God.
Yeah. I'm sure everything will be fine.
We're definitely not going to figure it out as we go.
Oh well.
This is going to be as smooth as sandpaper.
All right. Well, I am going to do our intro again, just because I am so happy with our new intro. Even though some things will change, but we will exit with the intro, so we won't get any Lando today, but we will exit with that.
I've been running scams on the streets since I was 10.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm up in Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but I answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbon night's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbon night is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. The shades are covering my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm on solo. I'm on solo. I'm on solo. Solo. Picking up my blaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my Falcon. Wookie at my side. I'm solo. I'm on solo. I'm on solo. I'm on solo. Solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, solo. Now I'm feeling how I should join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so fly time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah, now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbon night is gone.